The American Red Cross is a humanitarian organization led by volunteers who provide relief to victims of disaster and help people prevent, prepare for, and respond to emergencies. We fulfill our mission here at the New Canaan Chapter every day by reaching out neighbor to neighbor, always ready and always prepared. The Red Cross movement began when Henry Deneau, a Swiss banker and philanthropist, organized local villagers to tend to the wounded on an Italian battlefield in 1859. But it was Clara Barton who brought the Red Cross movement to America's shores. After treating Civil War wounded, the Massachusetts schoolteacher and government worker traveled across the Atlantic to aid those affected by the Franco-Prussian War. While in Europe, she learned about the newly formed Red Cross movement. When she returned, Miss Barton succeeded in gaining the support of President Garfield, and the American Association of the Red Cross was incorporated in 1881. Shortly after, Red Cross Auxiliary No. 41 of New Canaan became an active organization staffed by local volunteers. During World War I, hundreds of New Canaan volunteers sewed, knitted, and made comfort bags for servicemen. And during World War II, the New Canaan branch organized a war relief committee, first aid courses, the Red Cross Motor Corps, and a blood bank. But by the late 1940s, the New Canaan Auxiliary was ready to stand on its own. On October 19, 1949, after 31 years as a branch of the Stanford chapter, the newly independent New Canaan chapter of the American Red Cross was born. The structure at 51 Main Street was built in 1881 and was purchased in 1952 by the New Canaan Red Cross. It has served as the chapter house ever since. The mission remains the same as it was over 100 years ago, where people mobilized to help their neighbors across the street, across the country, and around the world in emergencies. In New Canaan, we do this by providing critical services to the community we serve and continuous preparedness. In fact, our ability to respond to an emergency starts with preparedness. Our disaster services staff and volunteers recruit and manage the Red Cross Disaster Action Team, or DAT. DAT members are highly trained volunteers who provide assistance and service in a uniform and safe manner during a disaster.
First thing we do is we bring the trailer to the scene, and from there what we'll do is we open up the trailer and then start setting up. And we set up in the shelter a registration area, we set up a dormitory area where we have cots and blankets, we make sure that we have the food and a place to feed the clients in the shelter.
DAT team member training and education is ongoing, ensuring the safest and highest quality instruction, and allows Red Cross volunteers, no matter where they're from, to respond armed with a well-thought-out plan. Our disaster action teams can be summoned to open a town shelter or respond during a storm, flood, hurricane, or fire. The response is immediate, as with this New Canaan family.
I remember everything is like the Red Cross was there the same time with the fire department, everything, everybody there, the same time. They told to my family, and they give me a blanket, and they say what you need, and you want a coffee, and after that, if you don't have place to go, I can give you, and they give me hotel, and they help me, and they pay the rent for me, like, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months.
The Red Cross partners with local agencies, including town emergency operations, churches, and disaster assessment teams. This allows us to provide mass care should it become necessary, while helping victims return safely to their homes.
We can take care of around 50 or so in a shelter, and if we need more, we can find other shelters to go to accommodate them. The trailer itself can hold enough of 50 cots and about 100 blankets, plus other supplies, comfort kits.
Another vital service of the Red Cross is Armed Forces Emergency Services. This program assists families that need to communicate with their servicemen and women during an emergency. When the Chakua family lost their New Canaan home in a fire, they needed to contact their son who was stationed in Iraq.
When the Red Cross sent the message through, right away my commander contacted me and told me what happened. I immediately just busted out in tears. I thought my mother was dead, or my son was hurt, or my sister, someone, since I felt like I was the last person that found out, you know. And I went and talked to my commander. He gave me the emergency leave. He told me that the Red Cross message came through, and they told me that can get me out the same night.
The Red Cross is also known for its health and safety training classes offered back here on the home front. The skills people learn help save lives and make our community better prepared. It's our goal that one person in each household in New Canaan be trained in CPR and first aid.
For over 30 years, the New Canaan Red Cross has taught CPR in the high school to the freshman class. It does require a large pool of dedicated Red Cross instructors, but it ensures that all students coming through the New Canaan High School have been taught these life-saving skills.
These classes provide students and volunteers with the skills necessary to keep someone alive until advanced medical help arrives. Classes range from babysitter training, CPR and first aid, to sports safety training for coaches, and swimming and water safety.
I've been certified in lifeguard training and first aid twice, and both times were through the New Canaan Chapter of the American Red Cross. I definitely feel like I was adequately prepared. Throughout my time as lifeguarding, I've made 5 saves, anything from ranging from just picking up a baby that's lost its balance and become submerged in the baby pool, or running waist deep into water at Kiwanis Park after a child who's either followed a drifting toy or their older brother or sister and realized that they can't stand.
As well as training, the Red Cross is most widely known for its blood drives and services. Here in the United States, a blood transfusion is needed about every 2 seconds. That's where the American Red Cross Biomedical Services comes in.
The Red Cross needs to collect about 650 pints per day to meet the needs of the 31 hospitals in the state of Connecticut.
In order to help meet our country's considerable blood requirements, local Red Cross chapters work hand in hand with Red Cross Biomedical Services to arrange blood drives throughout the year.
I think it's important for people to give blood because, for example, in the case of my son, who needed blood, and there's no other way to get it unless you have blood donors to donate. And there are just so many reasons. My wife had a quadruple bypass in November, and she needed blood.
The New Canaan chapter sponsors 6 community drives each year, plus 2 drives at the New Canaan High School. Young people over the age of 17 can donate blood, and it's our hope that they'll influence their family, friends, and community to become regular Red Cross blood donors as well. 5% of the population in the United States donates blood, though 50% are eligible.
I think people would more readily come to the drives if they knew a little more about it. I don't think they understand the shortage, you know, the need. I just think people see the Red Cross and don't associate the very big need for blood.
As a blood donor, you're volunteering your time to help others in need. But sometimes that's not enough. The Red Cross is a huge humanitarian organization led by volunteers both at the national and local level. Volunteers are a necessity in order for the Red Cross to fulfill its mission and account for 96% of our workforce. In New Canaan, volunteers fill in at every level, from drivers and instructors to office support and information technicians. They also help to host fundraising events and sponsor blood drives. The New Canaan Red Cross Medical Transportation Service perfectly demonstrates how volunteers help their neighbors each day. This free service, not offered by all Red Cross chapters, provides over 1,400 drives each year for residents to non-emergency medical appointments in neighboring towns.
The New Canaan Red Cross Transportation Program has taken me to doctors' visits, to therapies, to hospitals, has taken me to the drugstore for various prescriptions, and has even gone as far as grocery shopping when it was needed. They've availed me to that, and in numerous parts, not only in New Canaan, but also in Norwalk and Stanford.
The program is made possible by our volunteer drivers and our donors who provide the financial support to keep our vehicles on the road. The client's experience starts with a phone call, and instead of hearing a recording, there is a friendly, caring person on the other end of the line. Our volunteer drivers are very special and often provide the small amenities that make our client's trip easier and more pleasant.
It's just like one extended family. Like, this is a friend who is genuinely concerned about your well-being and wants you to have the best care they can give you, even if it's just getting you from the car to the hospital, to the front door. That's it. Making sure you're signed in. You know, making sure you get back in one piece. That's it. A warm car, for me, is a joy in the middle of winter. And they always know to crank up the heat.
The New Canaan Red Cross has a well-established Youth Corps, which has always drawn excellent volunteer leadership. Youth Corps members learn life skills, leadership skills, help in fundraising, and serve as a link for the Red Cross to the young people in our town.
The goal of our Youth Corps here at the Red Cross is to work side by side with our more experienced Red Cross volunteers. We forge a partnership and we actually learn from one another. They're our future leaders.
Youth Corps volunteers revitalize our chapter with their enthusiasm, energy, new talents, and skills. They help with and enhance the delivery of our services and assist us in reaching out to all segments of the communities we serve. Young people are the future of the New Canaan Red Cross. The Red Cross mission is clearly defined: to help people prevent, prepare for, and respond to emergencies. The New Canaan Chapter, often in collaboration with other agencies, provides education, maintains emergency supplies, trains volunteers, and practices for emergencies. Another Red Cross partnership is with CERT, the Community Emergency Response Team. When emergencies happen here in New Canaan, CERT members can assist first responders, provide immediate assistance to victims, and organize spontaneous volunteers at a disaster site.
It's really an incredible program. It was started by the Federal Emergency Management Association a number of years ago. It's now part of another federal government organization. There are chapters all over the country. It's a 20-hour training program for each of the people who participate in it. It teaches you how to prepare yourself and your family for an emergency. Here in New Canaan, we've taken it one step further. What we do is we have developed the capacity to help our emergency responders respond, in addition to taking care of ourselves, and in addition to finding out how to take care of our families.
Just as it was in the beginning, the Red Cross is an organization of people serving people. Our mission continues to grow strong with volunteers like you. We ask every day for your time, your blood donations, and your financial support, so together we can continue to deliver our life-saving services to the New Canaan community and beyond.